Hello, welcome back to ASP.NET MVC tutorial. I am Ashish. So this is part 20 of this video series. So before proceeding, please watch part 17, 18 and 19 of this video series in order to know about what is partial view and how can you call it using jQuery and what is difference between html.partial and html.RenderAction. Okay, so now in this tutorial I'm going to discuss about how can you edit record using partial view, jQuery and Bootstrap modal. Okay, so let's get it started. So here in previous video I was just showing the list of employee having delete functionality and you can view the record of that employee. Okay, so I was just calling this method in order to call my partial view, and I was just binding it to my modal body. Okay, so here is my method which is returning the partial view. Okay, so let's add the edit functionality. Okay, so I will add one more button. Just copy this and paste it here. Okay, and call this method add edit employee. Okay, and let's change the icon. Let's say pencil. Okay, and copy this method and write a jQuery function here. So where this equals function. Okay, and copy this and paste it here. Okay, so on clicking on edit button I will receive an ID. So let's say employee ID. Okay, and I will just call one more method, that is add edit employee. Okay, and I will pass employee ID as an parameter. Okay, and that will return a partial view. Okay, and I will just load it into the modal body. Okay, so let's call this my modal body div. Let's call this 1 and just create this my modal 1. Okay, so this is my modal. Okay, and I will just make a copy of it and I will just rename it 1 and div 1. Okay, let's change the title, add edit employee. Okay, and let's remove this footer. Okay, so I will just load the form in this div. Okay, and here is my controller, and now I will create one more method, that is add edit employee, which is going to return a partial view, that is partial view 1, or you can create your own partial, that is it will return a partial view 2. Okay, so let's add a view. Okay, partial view 2, and having the model, no need to check it, add it. So here you go. Okay, so this is your partial view 2. Okay, so now go to controller and just delete this. Okay, just delete this and here I will just receive an employee ID. So on the basis of that ID I will just get the single record of employee. So for add edit functionality I will just return the employee record, and if this ID is 0 then I will just return the empty model here. Okay, so first you just need to check if employee ID is greater than 0, it means you are just editing a form. Okay, then just call the employee emp equals db dot employees dot single or default. Now write the where condition employees x dot employee ID equal to that parameter. Okay, and one more condition, whether the employee is deleted or not. So I will just fetch that employee whose deleted status equal to false. Okay, and I will just create one object here, employee view model. Okay, view model equals new employee view model. Okay, so let's rename it as model. Okay, now copy it. Now set the parameter employee ID equals, I will just get this here, employee dot employee ID. Okay, and I need one more, model dot I need department ID. Okay, equals employee dot department ID. Okay, and I need employee name, so model dot name equals emp dot name. Okay, so I have employee ID, department and name. Okay, so here is in my model, and I will just pass it to the partial view. Okay, partial view 2, and if it is greater if the ID is greater than 0, means I'm just getting the employee that is already existing in the database. Okay, and if not, then I will just pass the empty model here. You can see here. Okay, so now go to partial view, and if you have watched my part 10, then you will be able to create this form. So I already have the template. Okay, and now paste it here. Okay, Control Z, Control Y. So okay, now so this is my form. Here I have taken one hidden field, my ID, employee ID. Okay, and my department list, means it is my department drop down, and I will just bind this drop down dynamically to viewbag.department list. Okay, so let's move to the index, and here I have just call this. Okay, so I will just paste it as it is here. Okay, so I will receive my viewbag.department list. So go to partial view, and here is the text box, name text box and address text box. Okay, and here is one button. Okay, and here I was just saving the record using this button click. Okay, so please watch part 10 in order to save record, in order to create this form, and you can save record using jQuery in part 15. Okay, now let's run this and let's see what's gonna happen here. So here you go, and let's put the breakpoint here and let's check whether it is working or not. Okay, so you got your employee ID, that is 1005 here, and now press function F10 if you are using a laptop. Okay, so viewbag.department ID, so here is my ID greater than 10. Okay, so I will just get the employee record and return that modal to this partial view. Okay, so it will, so here I got the uh, development David and address is empty. Okay, so let's check the address also. So just stop it and let's add one more, modal dot address equals emp dot address. Okay, now let's run, and this time you will get the complete form. So here you go, now click on this, now press continue button and you will get all these fields. Okay, now it is showing the save button. Okay, now I will show it update button here. So just go to your view and go to your partial view and just check the condition here. If put a @ here, model dot, if my employee ID is greater than 0, it means employee is already existing. So I will just show a span, and inside that span I will just call a update. Okay, else I will just show a span, and it will show the save functionality. Okay, now let's add one more button, that is href hash and class btn space btn, let's say default, or you can take primary. Okay, so new record, and write on click method. On click it will call this method. Let's say here, and edit employee. Okay, so call this method and pass id 0. So this will be working as inserting a new record. Okay, now let's refresh this. Okay, so this form should be, and this button should be on the different page, that is on the root page. So place it here. Now refresh this. So here you go. Now click on edit button. So id is 4, so it's going to give me the edit. So here you will get the update. Okay, and now if you click on the, so here is the id 0, so it will return an empty model. So here you can insert employee data. Okay, now I'm going to save my record in this two condition. So here I will just make some modification. I'm not saving any site here, so just delete this. Just stop it and delete this, and I also don't need this. Okay, so in Modal I will just get the data, and with this data also I will get the employee ID. So again, modal.employee ID is greater than 0. It means employee is already existing. So I will just make the modification, means I will just get the record from database and I will just update that. So let's copy this and paste it here. So I'm getting the employee record from modal dot employee ID. Okay, so I will get the employee record here and just delete the, so there I was taking data from database, and now I will just insert data into the database. Okay, so now employee.employee ID, so there will not be any change in employee ID. So department ID would be model dot department ID, and name will be equal to model, that is parameter dot name. Okay, and address would be model dot address. Okay, and now finally save changes, db dot save changes. So here you just updated your existing employee. Okay, and else if employee is not existing already, so you are going to add that employee. So just cut it down and here, so you are just putting employee, address, name, department, and one more field you need to add here is deleted equal to false. Okay, so employee.add, so this is going to insert your data. Okay, so let's give here insert, and here you will get the update. Okay, hope this is clear to you. And now finally just return that view, Control X, and here return that view. Okay, now here in the partial view, so you just provided the form data here, and just remove this alert message, and I was just calling the index method by providing this data, and after the success I will just hide my loader and my modal, and I will just hide this modal. And one thing also, you can just refresh your page, so window dot location dot href equals, now this is going to load the home, test controller and index. I will redirect this to this page. Okay, now let's run this. So here you go. Now let's try to edit this. Now continue this. Okay, so this is my marketing Brano, and I'm going to edit this as F1. Okay, now click on update. It's going to call this. So I'm just passing the employee ID also. Department ID, employee ID is 4. Okay, department ID and address. So now step down, employee ID, so it's going to update that record. Okay, so here it's going to update, and it's going to return that model. Okay, and window.location.href is test index. Okay, so France equals France 1, and now I'm going to insert one more entry. So let's select the development, and let's select Ashish, and in address let's say India. Okay, okay, now save it. Now this time the ID parameter would not be greater than 0. Okay, so it's going to insert that employee. Okay, so now save it, continue, and here you go, Ashish Tiwari development India. Okay, so I'm going to remove that breakpoint, and now I'm going to edit that record. So development, I'm going to replace it London. Okay, and now I'm going to change the department, that is QA. Now update this. Okay, so Ashish QA London. Okay, and one more entry, let's say IT name Robert. address America. Now save it. Okay, so this way you can edit your employee record. Okay, so let me recall you everything again. So I have just added one button here, and I was just passing this employee ID to this method, and this method is basically calling the partial view here. So add edit employee. Okay, so this is going to return me the partial view. Okay, so here is my method, this one. I will receive an ID. Okay, so if ID is greater than 0 means employee is already existing, and this is going to return me the employee record. And again I will just point it to the modal, and I will just return to the modal, okay, with this partial view too. Okay, so here in partial view I have just taken this here. Okay, so I will just receive that employee ID in a hidden field, and drop down list department ID and text box would name here and address here. I will receive all data here. Okay, so in the button here, button submit, on click I will just here I am just showing the save or update on this condition. If employee ID is greater than, it means I need to update that employee, and else I will just save a new record. Okay, and on the button button submit, I'm just saving my form. So on the click method the loader will be shown, and here I will just collect this data from this my form.serialize. Okay, so my form ID is this, and it's going to return all the value from this form. Okay, so I will just pass this data to this control method. Okay, so on the success I will just hide the loader, and I will just hide the modal, and I will just redirect it to the index page again, so it will just refresh my whole page. Okay, so if you go to the index here, I was just passing this data as a parameter. So again I just check the condition here. If the employee ID is greater than 0 means employee is already there, and I will just update, else I will just insert. Okay, so this is all about editing record using partial view and Bootstrap Modal and jQuery. Okay, so I'm done. So thank you very much for watching my tutorial. If you really like, then give us a thumbs up, and if you have any comment, if you have any query, then please do comment and share my videos and help your friend. Bye bye, have a great day.